Not much of a talker, are you? But we are going to put on the biggest damn show in the world tomorrow. We are going to drown this dark city in awesomeness. We're going to make it shine. Like you.
Shiny. So shiny. Can we be friends?
Sure, we can be friends.
But we are friends.
Can I touch it?
Please.
Just a little.
My friend.
It's so shiny.
Shine.
Shiny.
Touch,
No,
touch.
no! That's where I draw the line. No touching.
Oh, over there!
Peekaboo.
And? Oh!
Bring me back my trophy, you nitwits!
Follow that car.
No. Why?
Because they've stolen the trophy.
No touching!
And we need to get it back. Oh, what the hell?
Swift as the wolves of Izrag.
Right, this is a chase.
Why are they driving so slow?
Oh, you want me to go faster?
Yes, I would like you to go faster. Terrible idea. Who are you?
Oh, quick, quick! No!
It belongs to us.
We're not victims anymore.
We are victors.
We have grown up.
Yes, we have.
Down with the heroes.
Hail the midi creeps.
To victory!
Your fate was always crystal clear. You will never grow up. This one is all mine.
Thank you.
I think you can handle that car.
I told you, we were going to drown this city in awesomeness.
Man, the things I have done for this trophy! Oh, man, that car chase! I tell you, all I wanted to do was buy this trophy. A nice glass of milk, and you know what? We ended up going all around Katowice, but it was worth it. And I'll tell you why, not just because this trophy symbolizes ESL One Katowice, not just because there is $1 million prize pool, but because this trophy shows the first ever Dota 2 major to be held in Poland! Oh, baby, you are hot. Which makes all of that sacrifice worth it. And it is great to be back here in the Spodek, this concrete spaceship in the heart of Katowice. And this is a place that I've said has been the beating heart of esports. And this, the 10th anniversary of ESL One Dota 2, a tournament that has never been won by the same team twice. Will that happen here? Will it? Who knows? But Katowice, we have had a great 4 days to get us to this point. We've had heats, we've had some quarterfinals, we have some of our semi-finalists. Are you ready for some Dota 2? Are you ready? Well, let's get it on, because we need one quarterfinal before our 2 semi-finalists. And they are 2 great teams. They're about to come on the stage, so please welcome your first quarterfinalist, and that is EG. So if you look into the eyes of EG, they are 5 people that think they are already in that semi-final. They know they've got the tools to get themselves there, but there is a team stood in their way. So please welcome their opponents also wanting that semi-final spot. That is Virtus.pro! So we have 2 teams on stage, our quarterfinalists set. Remember, this is the first of 2 days here in this fabulous arena. 2 days of great competition. $1 million prize pool is on the line. That trophy as well, the first ever Dota 2 major to be held in Poland. So let's get it on, and I want to know that feeling is there. Katowice, ESL One, are you ready? Yeah, you are. So let's hand it over, let's get it underway with Paul Red-Eye Challenger. It's all yours, buddy.
Thank you very much, Mr. OJ Borg. Fantastic start to the day. The nerd chills are in full effect right now inside the Spodek Arena as we bring you our final quarter-final of the day. Then we'll move on to both semi-finals. One of these 2 teams looking for that spot. It's EG versus Virtus.pro. We're back at the desk once more to bring you the first draft of the day with Nahaz, Purge, and Fault. Alan, we'll start with you. Draft time not too far away. So what are we looking, what are you feeling for EG after what we saw yesterday?
The key to this draft matchup is whether or not VP are going to be able to handle the off-lane pressure of EG. Dual off-lane sets ball are 25 and 14 in the tournament so far, by far the most successful lane configuration. EG's run that in every game. They are 6-1, and in particular, EG's game plan, the common denominator in these wins, is shutting down Ramses. The last game that they played in Genting, they ran that aggressive dual off-lane against the Ramses PL. They held him to 0 kills on his Phantom Lancer. The the first time that's happened for him in 100 pro matches since TI. In the game before that, they ran a Tinker Pudge Rubik aggro tri-lane against his Chaos Knight. Arteezy died 3 times in the first 8 minutes on his Tinker, but they wouldn't let Ramsey's CK out of the shadow of his safe lane tower.
Oh,
I think they heard that one. I think Artur may have heard you, Alan. You may have to pay some sort of compliment to him. Like, for instance, his Terrorblade yesterday was incredible.
I think I'm in trouble.
I think you might be in trouble. Folk, talk to me about this history stuff, right? As a player, when you're playing a team that you've lost to a lot, even though you've played them with different lines, does it get in your head? Does it make any difference?
I want to say no.
But you've thought about it, haven't you?
But I do think a little bit. I do think a tiny little bit. The VP guys, they even joke about it a bit. Like, at the end of every single series, they're like, well, it happened again. So it definitely is going to come into a little bit of play.
Okay.
I think they're going to come in very prepared for this one, though. Solo, I do think, like Nahaz was saying too, is these dual aggros, they have to be prepared for this. They have to be able to switch. They have to be able to just make that that switch up, that fix during the draft, during the games, just be able to deal with EG, so they don't fall into that trap.
Okay, Kevin, what do you want to see from Virtus.pro?
I guess I'm just curious how they're going to react to that dual offlane. The conventional wisdom is if they have 2 heroes in the offlane, you just put 3 against them and it guarantees you a win. But to do so, you need to ensure that your other 1v1 matchups are safe, because by doing that, your offlane is going to be against 2 heroes. Your mid is in a straight up 1v1. It's more obvious when your supports leave. So if it's that kind of a situation, the draft is super important. If you can get a hero like Razor at the start, it would be a big advantage, because then you guarantee one of those 1v1s is fine for you.
All right, here we go. Draft number 1, game number 1 of the quarterfinal inside the Spodek Arena.
I was wondering how many dodges end up happening, right? It's like, all right, sure, they try to shut down Ramses. Well, we're not going to put him safe lane. We're going to put him mid. We're going to put him off lane. So that's where I'm looking for the adjustments to come out and what VP is going to respond with. So already, EG's taking out the responses to early pressure, the Enchantress and the Chen, these 2 heroes.
That's not a hero that's VP's run a lot recently, but Liquid showed that last night against Secret, and it looked absolutely fearsome, the mind control offlane Enchantress.
I think both have played it, Vici as well as Liquid, mostly as an offlane hero actually, just because you sit there and you attack the carry and it kind of gives them a bad time. It's gone now, won't be played support either. Chen's gone, Witch Doctor, it's all early game stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it's all about that early game.
Like, Witch Doctor is so good at being able to zone and deal with offlaners. With just Maledict alone or Maledict plus Cask, it's really dangerous to certain heroes. So I think this is the first tell that EG is planning to definitely still stick with the offlane contest.
Yeah, and with the Witch Doctor, it's played a big role as the game has gone on as well. When you talk about Razor's already gone, but when you talk about the emphasis that we've seen on these tanky cores throughout the tournament, that Maledict all of a sudden onto one of them makes them actually feel vulnerable in the fight.
And we were talking about the other day how we might expect to see an IO. I think this could be the series when it comes out. This Witch Doctor ban is a little bit of a tell maybe for me that they could go for doing like that Beastmaster IO that they love so much.
Yeah, the crit IO is just fantastic. They are 17-3 since January 1st with crit on IO or Rubik.
Are you surprised to see the Razor? First ban, we spoke about it a lot yesterday as one of those, it's a first phase pick. It's become pretty staple throughout this tournament.
It's pretty much the last 10 or 12 drafts that we've seen here, pretty much the team with second pick bans Razor, because it's just such a flexible first pick. There are so many teams now like Liquid that run it at all 3 core positions.
It also it shuts down majority of cores. That's why we've been seeing, you know, everybody's talking about it. It's like, oh, I feel like we only see these like 2 or 3 carries, like this Terrorblade Gyro. It's because the Razor just shuts down majority of the others. It just makes them really hard to play.
And when you talk about the lanes, right, that's what, oh my god, Tiny's actually gotten through. Wow, so Tiny is the only hero that has been picked or banned in every game so far in the tournament here. And I believe this is only the 5th or 6th time he's been picked.
I would say he's somewhat similar to Razor in terms of lane flexibility. It's not the same, obviously, and he isn't always the same kind of core, but he's definitely a safe opener. You can put him a lot of different ways.
Yeah, he's 8th pick of ESL One Katowice. 42 bans on the back of that.
Only 3 and 4 though when he gets through the draft.
Maybe because he's always picked early, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good at picking off heroes in the early mid game, basically, and then go for that IO.
The classic combination.
Tiny IO.
Had a feeling.
The most played duo of heroes in the history of Pro Dota.
But probably not going to be played the standard IO Tiny move with the carry Tiny. Surely it's more likely to be an off lane.
More than likely the pressure lane, yeah. I would imagine that, but it's that flex. You really don't know just yet.
Exactly.
You can't make an assumption.
That's the power of the Tiny pick with the new strength and regen scaling and some of the other changes, right? The DK and the Tiny are all of a sudden flex picks. They can go in the off lane now.
Yeah.
Although they haven't played it that way.
Nope.
He's a pretty good pick here as well. The two heroes that he's up against right now are heavily magic damage, and if he just gets the 20% magic resistance perk at 10, he's already going to have a big advantage against them.
Oh yeah, it is. So I hadn't keyed in on that, Paul. That's important. Yeah. That the 2 times that EG has run Tiny this year, it's both been Fear.
It's both. It's been. And RTZ has actually got 1 in the last 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Played it when it was a little bit different of a hero, right?
Yeah. That was. I think that was at the tail end of last year.
It was. Yeah.
So Gyro is a bit susceptible to that burst, but they do want to have. They've just really been liking this hero for VP. They've been picking a majority of the games.
Yeah, you saw them run that at least once in the series versus Vici, right?
Yeah, and this was the 2v5 combo that we saw at Genting.
Oh my God!
The gyro tanking.
The rampage. Ramsey's bro lets Pasha have the rampage on the Sand King. That was awesome.
They still take out the beast. I think that's an excellent ban.
Banning all of Sumail's aggressive heroes with the puck and the beast.
Yep.
Yeah, banning heroes that can set up for relocates that can pressure on the side lanes.
Which means they don't believe that Tiny's an offlane either.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's just, even if he ends up being the offlane, just how adept Sumail has shown himself at execution in the dual lane combos with this. That Puck Elder Titan lane that they ran as a dual safe lane was just, it was crazy. I mean, you can't contest the stacks, and all of a sudden ET is hitting you for 60 damage or 100 damage.
Yeah. So it could be that they expect Tiny to be an off, or they don't expect him to be offlane, or they're trying to force them to make that be the offlane. That could be the other thought.
So the AA Disruptor bans, they're really trying to make sure this IO has a heavy impact. I mean, if they're going to pick it so early on, it is one of those heroes that can't take over a game. So AA and Disruptor.
Alright, let's get into
very
the meat of the sandwich now.
Yeah.
Where did Virtus.pro go?
Well, they need really good lanes just because of the IO. Giving them the potential to heal and save and win a lot of early trades is exactly what they did in the set yesterday.
Yeah. I think having good ways to match the roam too. We talked about it a little bit the other day is playing versus IO, you have to have roam control. You can't let this hero just run around, get every single bounty, get every single rune, and just keep filling up the bottle and sustaining the lanes.
So I would say that Omni would be on the table here for Virtus.pro, but they have run the Sand King largely in the offlane position. If they're willing to shift that, okay, I think that's a good enabler for the Gyrocopter.
Instant pick.
There's the bit around me.
Yep.
They felt that one was coming.
That was so fast that they had it.
I mean, the first phase was as well, Kevin. I love it when it's like that, because it's almost like they've gone through a playbook of, well, if we do this, they'll do that, then we'll do this, and they'll do that. And that's exactly what's playing out right now.
But Dota.
I think they also, even if they didn't just expect the Omni, there's already Sand King, right? So he's already got a great tool.
So it's a good response. Their trialing is going to be low on damage, is maybe one of the downsides, but they can definitely chase and right-click a lot, especially if they have a potential like 3v2 matchup. But straight 3v3 might not go great for EG right now in a tri-lane.
So this is more than likely going to be a Roger Sand King, meaning we're probably looking at the 5-position support pickup here for VP.
Bane's still in the pool?
Yeah. It's probably the best alternative. Bane's one of the top 3 ELO adjusted win rates in the tournament. 10-3 so far.
I guess I feel like he's not very good against IO for some reason. You can relocate who gets Fiend's Gripped. He is good at trading, but IO's better at trading and makes everybody faster.
They could double down on team fight here and go for something like that Warlock for solo.
That's a hero they've liked a lot. There's the Bane. So the critical aspect right now, even though I agree with Bane not necessarily being the best against IO Tiny, they need a BKB breaker in their first 4. They don't want to. You don't want to get trapped into picking something like a Void 5th pick because you have no way to deal with BKB.
Rubik is very good versus that though. So Rubik is actually good versus the 3 ladder picks that VP had chosen up.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, it's scary. Just EG can go so many different directions here.
And I feel like it was all opened up by the fact that they first pick. Their opponents have to ban Razor, and then they just ban a bunch of heroes that are tier 1.5. VP has to collect the other tier 1 bans and like to open the way they want.
So, Alan, if you can look this up, how's IO Tiny been doing? I feel like I've been seeing that one. When it is let through, it does fairly well, but I do think it's the majority Liquid that has played it.
Yes, I shall look that up for you right now.
Yeah, I think it's the only team that teams regularly ban IO first phase. This is pretty much just Liquid.
Rubik is now the most picked, by the way, at ESL One Katowice.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Tied with Gyro.
Yeah.
Or, no,
ahead of Gyro now.
Ahead of Gyro.
Ahead of Gyro now, yeah. And then Disruptor, DK, Razor, and those ridiculous win rates of DK and Razor still above 73%.
Well, we are waiting on a DK here. Tiny can hit towers, but DK might not be bad either. BKB hit front line.
Yeah, and I feel like you kind of got to take some Nails Hero here, and DK at least is a flex. The other thing, I think Batrider's at least decent here as well. Just get in on the gyrocopter because so far it's a single core lineup from VP.
They do tend to leave some hours until last.
You do have to okay, but let's at least say it. Okay, you do as EG at least have to think about the brood as well. The Ramses brood mother.
It's true. They could put Tiny against it, I feel like, though.
Well, this is going to be an Arteezy Medusa, and Arteezy Medusa is sick.
It's a really good pick here.
5-0 on the hero.
Because if you're up against an Omni Knight and there's a gyro, like normally you fear the repel coming out a little bit earlier, but as long as you pop Stone Gaze, he actually has to disengage. So no matter what happens, especially like Fiend's Grip as well, it can be a pain in the butt to actually rely on if you have to worry about Stone Gaze.
So to answer your question, by the way, Fogged, Tiny and I only 7-6 in 2018, and only I think 1-1 in this patch. It's just not being picked up much.
Just not being picked up.
Yep.
Okay.
So final bans.
Does feel like on VP they lack some damage to go through that Deuce at the moment, especially if there's an IO backing him up.
Would OD be the obvious pick for VP?
Ooh.
They do like their OD gyro. We saw that one in the series yesterday that they played.
I think the answer to your question is yes, but I don't think that one's in the draft.
Can I just throw something wild in here?
You may.
You may.
Samael has played the Medusa.
Since move to the offlane?
Huh. I mean, they could put him safe lane against like Omni or something.
That completely.
I don't think it will happen here, but it's just one of those wild things they could spring.
Do you think VP can still go for something like the Terrorblade and they just run the gyrocopter in the mid lane?
The answer to that is definitely yes.
5 seconds remaining.
He'd have to be worried about getting solo killed, I guess, by Tiny IO, but ban Brood, and now they got their pick here.
Again, you got to take away the Brood, and I think that the Terrorblade is the obvious pick for VP. I agree.
You are susceptible to a little bit of burst though.
Yeah.
Tiny Rubik, offensive no field.
So EG has a little bit of lockdown problems right now. They basically just have Rubik Lift and Tiny spells. So maybe a little bit more team fight would be good, or gank.
So if it is off lane, does the Tide work here?
Tide works. Enigma or Bat?
Yeah.
Enigma is, I think, the big one that stands up versus Omni Knight.
Yeah.
That would be lovely here, wouldn't it?
Virtus.pro.
And the Ursa. So there, again, your laning matchup
Lane
against
matchup,
the Omni Knight is the absolute key. They are going to try to put as much pressure on that lane, the side lane matchups as possible.
So where does Samael go then?
He'll probably play Tiny.
So it's a pressure tri lane. They leave Ursa in a 1v1 versus Omni. They're going to try to get that matchup.
And then Deuce will be safe mid no matter what happens.
And then Deuce will be, you keep the attention off of the Deuce.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just been the EG recipe throughout the tournament.
It's given Virtus.pro a little bit to think about because they're obviously thinking, okay, so who plays what where?
Kind of seemed to me like Ramsey's face was like, I wanted to pick that.
Yeah, and there's the Terrorblade. You just have to go with it because right now you have very little tower hitters through your first 4 picks. You're almost locked into picking the Terrorblade at that point.
An intriguing first draft, Gensis. Time to put reputations on the line, as ever, with the predictions. Alan.
I think once again, EG came into this draft super prepared. They knew what VP was going to do. They've got a winning formula. EG in game 1.
I think I'm going to have to go with that as well. The lane matchups look too good for them, but I do love VP's draft. I think it looks great on paper.
Okay.
Oh God. It's the curse.
I almost said VP. I was really
It's
close.
the curse. I'm pretty close as well.
Are we doing this again? Is this what's happening?
I think, I mean, I completely agree. I think it's the lane matchup thing for me, and I think they lack damage for Dusa. Going EG.
All right, okay, clean sweep on the desk as far as they're concerned here. Lots of benefit for EG, but it's down to the players. It's also down to our commentary team. Spodek Arena, please welcome a very classic commentary team of Toby, One, and Cap. How the devil are you, boys?
We're doing fantastic.
Can you wait for this? Is this cool?
Yeah, wait, we can make it cool, right? Like, we're just waving. That's cool, right?
That's good, I like it.
Yeah.
We're standing outside, and it's just amazing that the arena is like pretty much already full to the rafters.
Yeah, gotta give big props to everyone who braved the snow, who braved the -10 degrees. They come out here, it's just like, you know what, we don't care. We're here for some fantastic Dota.
I was looking outside at 6:30 in the morning, and I saw the line for the tickets. It was incredible. I was like, dude, it's below freezing out right now. They're just all standing in line. That's amazing. That's some passion right there.
Well, let's warm ourselves up with some fantastic Dota. Evil Geniuses versus Virtus.pro. Game number 1 of this best-of-3 quarterfinal. The winner will play the last series today against Fnatic in the semis. And it looks like EG is already on the hunt, and so is VP. Everyone hold hands and take up the bad addiction that is smoking.
Both teams, ooh, this could get real messy because VP are going to take that dire high ground.
The smoke broke. They saw him for half a second. They're going to turn around right now. EG,
Oh,
they're in the perfect
ground.
positioning. But then again, the dire observer ward. Wait for it, VP. They're not going to walk into EG. How does EG react? By having a complete anticlimactic situation and walk away.
Oh man, I thought we were going to see 2 or 3 kills just to start the game, but apparently not. Both teams gonna back away. We did start this whole entire series with a very clear opening in the draft. VP gave them the tiny wisp. Both teams knew they were gonna be taking up. We talked about like the support bans that were coming out, say the Witch Doctor, for example. Very important ban for EG to get a successful tiny wisp combination here in the opener. The question mark for me is actually Fear's Ursa here. We've only seen 2 games of the Ursa so far here at Katowice, and it's only got a 50% win rate, 1-1. I'm not too bullish on the hero right now. I feel like the hero is just, it doesn't scale past that 25-minute marker unless you're really snowballing. So EG need to be able to secure themselves a good start for this Ursa.
Well, they'll attempt to do so, but at the same time, like Rubik versus the SK, we'll see who's going to be the better support, try and zone out this top lane. Fear's actually already being initiated on, down to 50% HP. Rubik's still taking a very long time. Misery went up the river. So Fear just being bullied out of the lane, while on bottom lane, then Samael and Rams get to go head to head. The normal Terrorblade pickup, thanks for making things different and interesting. Metamorphosis pop early on, and they're just trying to really focus on crit. And that's a dangerous thing when Solo has that brain sap nuke. He can easily trade with the IO.
It's so important for Roger to do this in his top lane because look at Fear's item build. He went for the Orb of Venom. He looks for that 1v1 domination, but they're not going to let them have that. They're going to head this 2v2. They've already put pressure on him. They're going to look to burn out his regen, so the Ursa always feels a little bit trepidatious about challenging and going for those big swipe stacks.
Yeah, this is just the dual lanes we've been seeing so much of during this tournament, and it's going to change up Crit living life on a prayer. As Solo, he would love to go for more, but this one range creeper sticking on his tail, so he can't really juke it around and find him in the trees.
They actually brought an early healing salve down to this bottom lane for Crit. So he's actually baiting out the Tiny right now. He wants to be able to get that double heal in.
Yeah, a bit more damage into Samael, then you're going to be good. The lane which we're probably going to not really look at much, because obviously going to be the dual lanes, it's still the mid, but I just want to flag it up while there's no kills happening on the other lanes. Arteezy versus no one. How do you feel the matchup goes with the Medusa versus the Gyrocopter? Oh boy. Actually with the Avalanche, Crit needs more distance. One more attack, miss uphill the south, and he misses up the hill. The tethered back down again. Solo will at least be able to take the bounty room, but you may lose your life for it. Samael's on the chase. Solo looking towards the Ancient Black Dragons. They're trying to balance out the attacks, and it will be Samael with the Avalanche. Just spill first blood on the bottom lane.
Well played. I mean, we talked about how Crit was baiting out that healing salve from the get-go, but then he just baits it out that extra little bit. Very fortuitous that he did manage to get the uphill miss, but either way, right? He could have just kept running straight up. If the miss didn't happen, his healing salve was canceled, he at least would have lived through that situation and successfully baited the Bane into a death.
It still seems problematic though. Like, okay, yeah, you killed off the Bane, you got the first blood, but what really is coming in return? I'm watching a 13-5 Terrorblade in this bottom lane versus a 6-2 Tiny. The Medusa is at least standing toe-to-toe with the Gyrocopter, but up on top, Fear, he's at 9-1. You're still getting a lot out of the Omni Knight, and when they get the Burrow Strike onto Misery, they get even more. Pasha finding that kill.
Ooh, bottom lane, they're gonna go for Solo here. The Nightmare will protect him though.
As Samael, still with the one charges as well, so he's got more mana up his sleeve when the time comes.
So the use of the courier to the bottom lane is actually why Fear is so far behind, because we already identified, hey, he's low on regen. He only went for one set of Tangos. He wanted the 1v1. He only just now got his second set of Tangos in South.
Ramsey's being initiated on the same time. Pasha's on the top lane having a lot of problems on the run. He is trying to stay alive. 35 HP. Stick charge will give him some time in the slow. Misery not getting what he wants out of Roger and Fear. Man, this guy needs to switch his boots back in again. He was trying to heal up, didn't have the movement speed for it.
They would love to be able to get the phase boots advantage to this Omni Knight up against this Ursa. It would make the lane a lot easier as they keep going forward. He's actually going to go for the early Soul Ring first. Since they are running this dual lane, they'll be able to have that just constant purification coming out. The mid lane is still going okay. I expect RTZ just to be able to do all right when it comes to farm. And because of the dual lane presence on both sides, he's not really going to be interrupted when it comes to his farm. He's not going to feel a whole lot of support presence in that mid lane either. So it should just kind of be good for both sides. But no one is going to be the one who rotates out early once he picks up his level 6, level 7. I would think he's going to go to the bottom lane and try and disrupt this tiny Wisp lane, see if he can get some early kills there. Meanwhile, the Dusa is just going to keep himself camped in that mid lane and try and chip away at that mid tower.
Yeah, chip away at the tower, find the farm, and then just continue to scale. Sumail in the bottom lane. Chris been waiting for this one. He grabbed the invis room when he had a little battle with Solo, but needs to give the extra regeneration into Sumail and keep him fighting on this bottom lane. Only got one more bottle charge left, but Sumail, okay, you can't hunt this much more. Closing the distance on Solo is almost impossible. But they have to do something about Ramses. Like, if there's one lesson we've learned during this ESL One, it's you cannot allow a Terrorblade to get 1 level and 2 farm, and that's exactly what Ramses is getting.
Oh, they're bringing the Wisp out to this top lane. They see Pasha is pretty low. They want the extra firepower to be able to bring him down.
Well, if they can bait him into initiating, Roger's still hanging in the tree line. And now Misery. Well, there it is, the Bio Strike initiation. Crit, ready to come over. Misery is the one being tethered. They'll pick up the on-ramp that gets the AoE stun. Back into Roger. Pasha will fall. Roger, he's got Sandstorm to hide it. Anyone bring detection? I'm afraid not. The Bio Strike in. Roger kills off Crit. It will be a tit for tat. Solo's also teamed up towards the top lane. Brains have already been committed, so Misery, low, and hiding in the fog of war.
Now, Toby, you said it. They do have to do something about this Terrorblade. Unfortunately, their team doesn't have that kind of just early presence. So instead, they say, well, why don't we just leave Sumail alone in this situation? We'll bring the Wisp out to the top lane, get ourselves an early kill.
Oh, you leave him alone and Sumail's probably going to die. That's Metamorphosis up, and Ramses wants to slow him down. Here comes Roger. Bio Strike level 2 has the range to close the distance on Sumail. A quick avalanche into the trees. He's got stick charges as well as the team feed, but he doesn't have life to survive long enough. So a good rotation from Virtus.pro, finding the kill on that Tiny. Are you actually okay with it though? So you're talking about like you sack Sumail. Can the Medusa deal with the Terrorblade? We haven't really seen this matchup at all yet against the Terrorblade.
Well, Dusa is supposed to be really good versus these Illusion heroes. Very good at dealing with pushers as well because she just kind of stands in front of the tower and has Stone Gaze. So I think that's the only reason that EG isn't fearing too much the Terrorblade getting this farm. But still, I mean, Ramses himself said it, right? Terrorblade, probably the most OP carry of the patch right now. It is still very dangerous. I mean, I saw so many matchups where I'm like, oh, Terrorblade's not going to be able to kill this Dragon Knight, but he does.
Nightmare in mid, they're setting up. This is going to be very problematic for RTZ. The shields are down, but Crit comes in, giving the extra life. VP committed heavily to get this. And they will not claim the kill on the Medusa. Huge advantage of her when she's got the 2 points up in the mana shield.
And they're going to get the full heal off the Shrine as well.
Yep.
It's so hard to kill a Dusa with a Wisp on the team because he's giving you both the mana as well as the HP regen.
That's one other thing we haven't really broken down yet. The fact that Io, normally you think, hey Io, you've got a good combination with the Tiny, but he can combine with so many of these heroes.
Well, they're going to try and burst Sumail. He just leveled up Sunder.
Oh, this will be problematic. Oh! It's a Sunder! Sumail! Help is there. Crit's in the neighborhood. They keep going on the run. And Sumail will get back towards the tower. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Guardian Angel popped off by Pasha as Roger was getting very aggressive on the enraged Fear. Each team poking around. Sumail pokes harder. Solo will fall. There was no way for him to react in time. And now, with a pickup from Misery, Ramses doesn't have his Sunder this time, starts his TP, but there's no cancellation. The toss was on the melee creep.
Very fortunate for the Terrorblade. Just surrounded himself. That is also just good play from him because he positions himself on top of all those melee creeps, just hoping for the RNG of the toss, not to be able to claim him.
God, this seems so big for Sumail. Oh, call down. RTZ shields. He'll be fine. But Sumail actually has the highest net worth of anybody on the map right now. See, he has decided to catch up. They're adding pressure into that bottom tier 1 tower. I'm glad he's changed his quick fire. Originally he had a Mithril Hammer in there. Now it's the Blink Dagger. So aggressive Sumail.
The panel talked about it. This is EG's bread and butter, and they set themselves up for it in the draft as well. Because if the Coddle wasn't banned, they banned Tiny instead, then they would have gone the Coddle Beastmaster combination. So either way, Evil Geniuses was going to get this aggro dual lane with their opening picks.
Misery's hiding in the trees up on top. I think he won't have a crack at Pasha. The Observer Ward that VP has down on this top lane watches the rotations, not the TPs over. That's why such a position can work, but only if Pasha wants to get over-aggressive on the Ursa. They also have that extra information thanks to the Dire Observer Ward on bottom. They know both Roger and Solo is down here. That's why they start up. The damage onto Pasha will not be enough. A quick TP back.
Win.
Samael. Okay, that was a bit of mistiming. Burrow Strike happening at the same time as the Nightmare. They just toss Roger back over. Crit wants to give him the extra life to get Samael back to the tier 1. It will not happen.
An extra bit of pop damage from the Sand King, just enough to be able to finish him off. They use Metamorphosis for this as well, so, ooh, crit.
He needs somebody
He's
to jump
dead.
to. No, he's got help. Actually, no, maybe
The
he's
shot.
dead. He was healing as quick as he possibly could. Arteezy came at the right place, right time, but now Call Down is there. Medusa wants to fight. He can't kill off Roger. Not in time. Ramses will get the double kill and then return to the bottom lane.
Ramses just sees an opportunity to run down a Wisp, and all of a sudden it turns into a Medusa kill as well. That's crazy. I mean, now they don't have to really use that Metamorphosis to push the tower at all. They got more than enough value out of the use of that, that long cooldown ability.
So EG need to steady the ship. It's been pretty balanced so far until this last couple of minutes. It was only about 1,000 the advantage as far as gold goes, but this is now stretched over the 2K mark. 1.5K in the experience for Virtus.pro. Just that early swing advantage. And the supports from EG are probably the ones struggling the most. Both sitting at about 1,300 experience, 1,300 gold. And Fear, he's the man that tries to stay alive on the top. Guardian Angel is out. Fear's enraged is the thing that's protecting him. There's hardly any damage that can connect, but you just can't run away.
As always, though, Fear is the one who's taking pretty much the worst lane for Evil Geniuses. Samael is definitely being enabled here, second in net worth, and about to take a tier 1 tower.
Yep. So they give him the good start. Work with the Blink Daggers. We still haven't felt the effect of the IO yet through Relocate. We felt the effect of his regeneration, but that level 6 is approaching for crit. And then VP got to be a little bit more careful about the fights they take, because there's always going to be reinforcements and heavy reinforcements.
Let's see, Fear, he's also trying to work towards a Blink Dagger. They're just mass initiation. Look at the build, though, coming out from the VP members. Both the Gyro and the Terror Blade picking up drums. They really need that initial amount of stats to make sure they don't get bursted down by the Tiny, and they don't let that snowball happen.
Mass coming in, the Nightmares on IO, and Samael, he's not even going to stick around close enough for a tether. He's accepting the fact the IO is dead. So a lot of heroes that TP in, they all came underneath that Dire Observer Ward. So very difficult to get anything for VP that EG doesn't know about, but they're still claiming a lot through the lanes.
That ward. Spotted out, thanks to the aggressive vision, already down from Evil Geniuses.
They're actually grouping up for their own fight. You've got a Invis Bane moving forward. He'll find the IO. He'll also see a big stack, Burrow Strike onto Samael, a tether away for crit. So they all start holding hands. That's a big Ancient stack now, and this will be the point of contest for Virtus.pro. They have 3 points up in the flat cannon for the Gyrocopter. I'm wondering how much of this they can get rid of.
Yeah, this is exactly why Evil Geniuses do have this kind of aggressive vision down, because they want to be able to maintain control of that Ancient stack, of that farming triangle, and be able to see any rotations when VP go for the contest.
Well, VP are pushing the tier 1 tower. They're not actually contesting the stack. Arteezy started work on it, but it's very, very slow. So this will probably be our first major engagement of the game. As everyone's grouped up, Roger's looking for the Burrow Strike around the back. He's got the help from the Omni Knight, and what a big Burrow Strike catching to Samael's Avalanche, tries to create some space. Crit, Nightmare up, 10 stick jumps are available, but the Fiend's Grip holding Samael in position. They toss him deeper under the tier 2 tower, but it's okay when VP are in such force. 4 heroes under the tier 2, claim 3 of EG.
The thing is contesting that ancient stack is near impossible without taking that offlane tower. Virtus.pro make the read how important this push is, and they back it up with both Roger as well as Pasha's Omni Knight, making sure they're just gonna run over whoever shows up to defend this. Another win, even if they're not gonna be able to take the tower, VP are still outmaneuvering Evil Geniuses when it comes to their movements around in the lanes.
Interesting choice by Fear. He's going to stay up on the top lane. He's got no detection, so this gank doesn't work without a relocate. And, well, Crit's TPing into the Shrine instead. Fear was actually TPing towards the bottom lane. Here comes your relocate down. They need to find Roger. He's already burnt the Sandstorm. Fear, his Blink Dagger back off cooldown again, and Roger will fall.
Man, they knew that Blink Dagger was coming. Oh, Misery got caught.
Yep, they're having a crack. Misery needs help. Okay, Misery actually just needs to be left to die.
Yeah, look how fast, like VP, they see that relocate. No one immediately just shuffles into the bottom lane. Like, all right, no relocate, we're gonna take this tower finally. They've also got the aggressive vision from VP into that dire offlane jungle area, getting some good vision of the that triangle of farm that we've been talking about.
This was a nice room for RTZ to find a double damage. So even though they lose the tier 1 tower on bottom, oh yeah, that's problematic. Here comes your tether. Fear after no one but Pasha once again. Then help out. The cooldown's going to be right on top of him. Crit needs more life to survive this. He doesn't have it. No one will bring him down, but Ramsey's so low. RTZ turns on the Stone Gaze, and Virtus.pro caught like sticks in the mud. Now trying to retreat back out of the tier 1 tower. Fear with a blind blink. Went the wrong direction, however. And also as a homing missile on his tail, Sumail diving with him. Arteezy just wants to finish up the tier 1 tower. What he's done before, but Sumail, wait, get out of there. He doesn't have enough life. Solo with the brain sap, Fear will drop down low. Can't believe that ended up happening. No one gets the kill onto Sumail. Arteezy does finish the tower, but oops.
Radiant creeps OP. They just surround Sumail right there on that edge.
I thought we're casting Dota, not Warcraft 3.
Perfect micro from the Radiant side.
From auto-pathing creeps, that's, yep. That's that thing that Sumail just make sure he doesn't tilt from. Keep his mind focused in the game.
Misery, he stole Burrow Strike earlier, and he is cleaning up a way through able to get his Arcane Boots. All of EG has just been kind of trying to finish up their items so they can finally get into fighting shape. We had the Blink Dagger picked up by Fear, now Arcane Boots from Misery, the Urn from the Wisp. These are all very key early game items.
Such a big enabler as well. Like, it's not just for Misery, it's the fact that Sumail can use his combination and still get a little bit more mana. Yeah. And potentially do it a second time around.
And you've got a Wisp on your team as well, so you can get the double Arcane Boost from it. Oh, a swing and a miss there from Sumail, tried to lead with the Avalanche and completely whiffed.
Would have been a good time to try and fight him too. There's only 30 seconds left on cooldown for Sunder, but a 30-second window is all you need. Bottom lane initiation, Fear was also looking for that, but very smart from no one. Understands he's going to hide in the tree lines. As VP get aggressive up on top, where's that pop damage? Misery with the Burrow Strike and the tree toss. Solo will end up dying, but Ramses triggers a drum charge, runs forward. They want that revenge kill onto Misery, and they will claim it. Sumail, blink in 2 seconds time, not required. As VP have backed off as Fear approaches the tier 2 tower on bottom. TPs are on the way. Roger.
Look, he's already setting up for this.
Here comes your epicenter. Look for the Burrow Strike. Fear doesn't get the enrage off in time. He now will pop it, or will he? Holding it for the moment. There's the enrage. Magic missile coming in behind him, but the relocate save. All the way back to base, but that homing missile will keep following him across the map so they know when he comes back.
Arteezy was thinking about positioning himself to be able to give the Wisp the tether.
Yeah.
But then he saw too many heroes from VP. They actually brought in the extra hero in the Bane just to make sure there was no opportunity where, oh, we're just going to get a Wisp kill, and all of a sudden he brings back the Ursa. You know, Medusa comes in as well.
That's what I was waiting for, but it just seems like EG are being a lot better today at just cutting their losses, understanding when they're not going to get the better fight. Smoke on smoke. Roger going to walk right into the back of Fear, and he blink Burrow strikes forward. Sumail blinks the wrong direction, trying to be the initiator. Avalanche onto Solo, but here comes your cooldown. Solo gets so much more life back from the brain sap and the one charges. They can't even kill him. Fear and Sumail, they're so low, and the Fiend's Grip. Fear can't go anywhere. 2 big calls from EG will go down. Misery will join them in the afterlife. And Virtus.pro are starting to roll over EG. The kill count's looking good. The only thing which is really the upside for Evil Geniuses is the amount of space that Arteezy has managed to claim.
Completely outplayed. Roger even does that extra move. Oh no, crit.
He just thought he could farm the mid lane, but Ramses was there waiting for him, and well played indeed. Crit will fall.
They're gonna get top tower and probably mid tower too. I guess they do have a glyph. And they can TP on Misery, see if they can lessen up this pressure. You are right though, RTZ is getting total free farm. It's at the cost of everyone else though on the side of Evil Geniuses. EG wanted to be able to at least get this tiny kind of, that snowball rolling a bit, even if Fear couldn't. But neither one of those cores is really getting the game going, so this game is gonna fall heavily on Artur's shoulders pretty soon here.
Yeah, as a VG, you're going to try and hold the higher ground. Of course, Virtus.pro, with their objective, their team fight is still great. Their pickoff is fantastic. Their tower lane, their lane pressure is also great. So pushing everything to ensure that, one, EG don't get even a moderate trade-off, but two, it's going to be about controlling the next Roshan. Don't allow Ursa to jump in there and get that. I'm still waiting to see when Fear will be capable of doing such a thing. Not the easiest ways from Virtus.pro to scout it, but I just feel like if you get that Aegis on VP, nothing's going to stop that push.
Cool item choices here from Pasha, also picking up the drums and goes for the early Solar Crest, so that's going to be a great counter to this Ursa and his single target focus. Other than that, the level 15 talent, huge pickup for the Terrorblade, because we've been talking about how EG's focus with their double Blink Daggers is just being able to get that raw burst damage, be able to take one of these cores out. Well, Terrorblade has rapidly gotten out of the range of burst damage. He's sitting at 1500 HP with 26 armor. I don't see really a good way for EG to be able to kill him before Sunder goes down.
It's got to be sustained, right? Like, how do you even cancel the Sunder later on? It's not like, well, unless Rubik is going to continue to steal. That's the only way it can really bounce back the other direction. It's not like they have a silence.
Yeah, pretty much their window for their early game to go well for EG is kind of gone. And now they just have to kind of concede control of the map to VP at times.
Solar. He's slipping in through the back lines. He takes the creep wave with him up the hill. But this is the mid-tier 1 tower under attack. Misery is nearby. He stole a level 3 homing missile. Doesn't really have a close by target for this, and they can still relocate in the Tiny if EG wish to try and find this. There goes the homing missile towards RTZ. The Echo Saber just got completed for the Tiny as well, so they'll have that for this fight. Fear, however, really is not here at all. He's still on the bottom lane, he's still farming, he's still finding his space.
Oh, and they're just gonna boldly go straight to Roshan.
There was no vision from EG to know about this. The Observers and Sentries are down, and it looks like EG are not aware they're going to smoke up themselves, but who do they fight? The Sandstorming SK is the only thing they've really got to reveal. Now they find the Bane. Avalanche toss, they get the burst combination on him, but then the Burrow Strike on the other side. Fear and Arteezy, they want to get into this mess, but VP have just Delta split out. They still have that Aegis, the Immortal Raider fight on the back of no one, and Arteezy Stonegate is gone. Epi nice, the double Burrow Strike, catching Misery too. This will be a triple kill for Ramses, and maybe even an Ultra. Samael will fall. Ramses takes the Ultra kill. EG dead for so long without buybacks. It's only Fear, the man that wasn't really there.
So well played by Virtus.pro. They bait out that stone case, they back themselves away, kind of reset, wait for Roger to be able to find that initiation. And Roger Sand King has been so on point this game from his start at pressuring the Ursa to make sure that he wins that lane for the Omni Knight, or at least makes it so he doesn't just get run over by the Ursa in that 1v1. He gets an early Blink Dagger, he managed to find multiple great Blink Burrow Strikes, and that epicenter was just beautiful. That AoE combination combined with the flat cannon, there was poor crit. He was just sitting in the river and he instantly died from so much AoE, especially the flat cannon shots. He just doesn't stand a chance against this.
Let's have a quick look at it once more. So Fear and Arteezy, they were meant to be the big bullies in this, but Roger, the epicenter available, the control has disappeared once that Burrow Strike connects. You can see Fear sitting in the trees. Nothing more he can do to help his team at this point.
Yeah, and Samael tries to go back in. Honestly, the moment the Stone Gaze was popped and Virtus.pro started backing themselves away, you could kind of make the read that this fight was actually lost from EG. It was just a question of how many people Virtus.pro was going to be able to kill in that engagement. Turns out they got 4 of them. Yep, it's near perfect for them.
And the next fight's going to be even stronger. The BKB will come out in the Courier for no one for the next fight. You've already got a Halberd. Now you got a Halberd, a Solar Crest drums for Omni Knight, and he's looking towards an Aghanim Scepter next. Even more problematic. The Blink was already there from Roger, being massively effective too. And they'll have more items rolling in.
Now, Virtus.pro is doing a great job. They are controlling this game. They're up by 10K, but before 25 minutes, they're looking on a trajectory to be able to close this out pretty quickly here. In like the next 7 minutes, I feel like they're going to have a lane of racks. But it is still Evil Geniuses with a tough-to-break high ground because they have the split push of the Tiny Wisp, and they'll also have a Dusa, who's going to be the one sitting on that high ground, and he's closing in on Scotty. So VP still have to keep a very clean game.
If they push right now, Medusa won't be there in time. The courier, I think, is only now bringing out the TP scroll.
Oh dear.
So TZ actually cannot TP back right now, but VP are unaware of this information, hence Ramses returns to the mid-tier 2. Now they'll see it as the courier goes over the observer and sentry ward.
Tiny trying to get this tower, but again, VP are just not conceding anything. They're always making sure that they're contesting these towers when possible. No need to give Samael any free gold. He's trying to work towards a BKB.
It's still going to be fun to try and watch VP push high ground. Like, you're talking about like the mass defense, but this is just enabled even more by the fact that Arteezy has found so much farm. So he's only about 1,200 gold away, or at 1,300 gold away from having a full Skadi. That's a lot of stats. That's also that slow to potentially kite out Virtus.pro. Even though it seems like VP are the ones doing the better kiting after that Stone Gaze.
Yeah, Arturo, I would say, is probably one of the best farmers in the meta right now, but VP, probably some of the best team fighters. They're so good at being able to play around each other, and we're seeing it time and time again. Their rotations have just been so on point. Pasha has been doing fantastic on that Omni Knight. I love the fact that he picks up the level 15 experience talent and is purely focusing on just getting that Aghanim Scepter. The Heaven's Halberd was a great choice as well. Fear has no game between going up against an Omni Knight and facing up against two different forms of evasion. One has a disarm as well against an Ursa. I'm not sure what he could possibly do in these engagements.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why, like, you're just watching him building up items like, Aghanim Scepter. Okay, how does that actually help him? Top lane defense, Medusa's TP back. Ramses will burn the Metamorphosis. They want to try and defend this one. And Arteezy, well, they're already having to burn off the fortification. This is great news for Virtus.pro. They can keep this pressure up. If they can keep that catapult alive as well, actually, they don't care. Fear has taken the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. They're looking behind themselves. This sustained push becomes more problematic now for VP.
Yeah, that Scotty does change things a bit, but there's no rush for VP. Eventually, they're going to get themselves, you know, a later game BKB for the Terror Blade. They're going to have no one dealing out a lot of physical damage because he's getting Butterfly up next. So they will still have that kind of like, all right, we'll just force it and kind of see what happens. The only real defense that EG has, like the very clear one, is using Stone Gaze. But you have to make sure, and we've seen this so many times in Medusa games, you have to make sure you actually win the team fight in the use of that Stone Gaze. You cannot afford to just use it to reset.
This would explain his item build as well. The fact that Arteezy is lining up a Divine Rapier. So he needs this to work out. You said about the burst damage. You don't get it from magical burst. You get it from the physical burst. Just that amplification crit just stays with Arteezy. Ensures that he is okay. He'll sacrifice himself for the greater Dusa.
Oh, I like this choice from Fear. Picking up the Radiance up next for him.
Radiance.
So he can try and get some miss percentage chance on that Terror Blade.
It's funny because you'd think like maybe you'd be able to go into that nullifier and be the front liner, but you're right, he understands his role is... He feels like a centaur right now. Like, can I just jump in the front lines, be really impossible to kill by hitting Enrage, and then just be problematic more than anything else?
Yeah, that's kind of where the Aghanim Scepter comes in, right? He can jump in and they can't just like Nightmare him or Fiend's Grip him or even just Burst Strike him. He can always hit that R button no matter what kind of stuns are placed on him.
But if they have a Blink Dagger on this main, then Fear will have a very hard time doing what he's doing at the moment. Just continuously adding the pressure on the bottom lane, forcing rotations from Virtus.pro down here. With the death of that tier 2 tower, VP will definitely have it in the back of their minds. We don't have to learn the lesson that Fnatic taught Team Secret. Like, if you're able to just keep pushing in that bottom lane as Dire side, you can always go for the trade-off. You always have a creep wave momentum, jump on the back of it. And with an IO Tiny, then we learn the lessons from every other split-pushing team that came before him. Understand the back door does not protect from a Tiny. especially if he can complete up the BKB and then have the relocate from Mayo.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important that they kept their offlane tier 1 tower and their other tier 2s protected so far, just to be able to make sure that later on in the game when they are faced with that proposition of, are we going to hit high ground right now while they're split pushing us, at least they'll have some buffers in the way.
It's like, need that Omni Knight Ags, please.
Oh yes.
Correct, the great buffer. Terrorblade's now finished up his Dragonlance, so more maneuverable Ramses. He's already got insane, like 441 movement speed. He's pretty happy where he is. But this high ground defense continues for EG. Things have slowed down a little bit more. The advantage is still going the way of Virtus.pro consistently in the goal graph. They've now cracked around 12K. The experience is bouncing back and forward. That's because EG's getting a lot out of the side lanes.
This Terrorblade hasn't even hit. Well, now he does, level 20. So there's that big minus 10 second on the reflection cooldown. I love the fact that VP's playing this pretty slow and waiting until they really hit their peak. They can get Roshan number 2, pick up the cheese, make sure they have these later levels on some of these heroes like that. Again, that reflection talent is huge.
I'm still concerned it's all coming a little too late if these items can arrive for Evil Geniuses. Like, Fear is now sitting at 3.7k, so the Radiance is approaching for him. TZ's finding less space on the map, mainly because he's just on defense duty while they get this Radiance into Fear. And also because TZ is scared to go into the Bermuda Triangle of camps.
Yeah, he finally gets a little bit of relief. Yeah, because he feels like the pressure coming out from the Ursa and the Terrorblade showing that they're not going to make that move without the Terrorblade. I think when you're up this far, if you're Virtus.pro, you don't really try anything offensive without at least your Terrorblade, if not your full 5.
What if he spent some of his money? Like it's sitting at 3.4k gold at the moment. As far as buybacks go, everyone at EG has buyback apart from Crit. Rubik is just a little bit short.
And they're going to get double butterflies. And that physical damage that we're talking about from the Dusa, it's not going to look so hot.
Maybe that's also the time too where TZ holds his gold a little bit longer so they can decide if they get something else. Like, is it worth getting the MKB over the Rapier?
Possibly, but I think it's just a hard game for Dusa in general. You honestly, most of the time, you just don't want to go with that item.
He switched it. He actually switched it. The courier needs to make the trip down, so he's picked up the double javelins.
Double butterflies, plus a halberd, plus solar crest.
Sumail seems to be double guessing as well. The item he wants to buy. Like he bought the BKB before. Now he's bought it again.
Maybe he was just thinking about holding on to buyback.
They're actually gonna have all of them almost. Like, Fear is so close to the relic money. 500 gold off. So there's the MKB. So they can already see the double butterflies coming, and they're reacting perfectly, EG. And they're reacting with this item now. Don't wait for the Rapier later. They need it now because they need to fight around potentially Roshan. He'll spawn up in around 30 seconds time.
Yeah, it's later Roshan, so it could have actually been up right now. EG have no way of knowing.
The smoke, Misery and Bane both walking close to each other and break the smoke. Observers are planted down so they get some vision on the high ground. Sentries as well, no one comes in close to Mail. The big jump, he went right into the middle of Virtus.pro, but he's so far away from the rest of his team that BKB cannot protect him. And Solo, the nightmare, it's on Arteezy. Crit needs to save him, and there it is, the relocate out just in time. Crit will have to sacrifice himself for Arteezy once more.
I mean, they were fully committed to all these items, so they mess up one team fight, no buybacks, and that's free high ground for Virtus.pro.
Crit tries to protect himself with the Ghost Scepter. He's at least wasting time at Virtus.pro, so they can't just push in straight away. But Terrorblade moving towards the north, and Misery needs to try and slow him down as best he can, but he can't survive it. There's just so much damage. Not easy. The Fiend's grip is up. Misery needs help out, but the Barrow Strike! Roger catches both of them down. Evil Genius is in a world of hurt. Don't give up, never surrender, but EG, they'll surrender. Evil Geniuses have been completely wiped in their base as Virtus.pro take game 1 of this best of 3.
Woo! Virtus.pro just looked amazing. I think they played such a clean game. I think their draft was really on point. They just identified the two big things that Evil Geniuses really needed to go right, which was their two cores outside of the Dusa. You can't afford to just like win this game as a solo Dusa. They kill those tempo controllers entirely. They make sure the Ursa has a bad lane. They make sure Sumail doesn't really get out of control. They pick up some early stat items to make sure that, hey, the Blink Dagger on Ursa, the Blink Dagger on Tiny, they're not going to be able to just run around and killing heroes and get that snowball rolling. We're going to have the initial stats to prevent that. And then they also did another great thing, which was just making sure they get a little bit of group up and they don't spread out and don't get picked off.
Yeah, I'm wondering how EG now mentally approach game number 2. Obviously, things became a little bit more rough for them in that. The Medusa pickup, not really functioning the way you thought. We actually thought their draft was going to be really good when you had that IO up and running. Maybe they lost their way. Maybe the Enigma 4th pickup is also where things didn't really go right and they just tried to repair their draft. They didn't get exactly what they wanted after that Bane got picked up, just restricting the Enigma grab. But, and what do you want from EG? What do you want to change for game 2?
I want to change a little bit of something. I was saying I wasn't really a big fan of the Ursa, so I would like to be able to see they make sure they enable one of these heroes because Virtus.pro, they took such good control of the early to mid game. They got to make sure they can actually contest that. So if you have some of your tempo controls like this Ursa, they want to make sure that they enable him in the laning phase.
Yep. So enable your cores, keep your rotations going. That's the key for EG, and they'll need it for game number 2.
They absolutely will. Thank you very much. Toby1 and Cap will be back with the commentary team, of course, for game number 2 very shortly, but let's give our analysts, our panel of experts, a chance to talk you through exactly how Virtus.pro have dismantled Evil Geniuses in game 1. We're back with Nahaz, Purge and Fogged. Changed your name there for a minute.
Yes.
Purged,
yes,
which is
past
quite
tense.
good because that's what EG just got did. Oof.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough game for them.
Yeah.
You know, one of the downsides of IO is that if you don't win the lanes, then it can be a little bit iffy in terms of gank pressure. And once they got in the mid game, EG just lost a couple trades kind of poorly. Maybe not, it wasn't their fault, just VP played better, and then it just led to this big advantage for VP.
Yeah, it was like that all the way through the game, though, Adam. Even in the early game, there was a moment where Sumail got caught out a little bit. It wasn't much, but it was enough for them to shut him down, and then Crit couldn't quite get away, and they shut him down. And that led to a 3rd kill in it. And that seemed to be the story of the game.
I think really what led to all of that sequences of events is you're seeing Crit dying. This is a big moment in the game, right? What led to this whole sequences of events is going to be that EG went away from the game plan that's carried them to success against VP, that being the aggro dual lanes, aggro tri lanes, put pressure on that safe lane. If you're going to run that top lane dual lane, the Ursa Rubik, pick a Lycan there. Because for the rest of the game, they had Ursa split pushing, right? I just don't understand. Ramses was able to just get uber farmed in the safe lane, and a couple of those players are close. This, you see here, Sumail has to be down toward his tower. He's trying to make space for Arteezy to clear off this Ancient stack, propelling Medusa's farm into the game. They just never were able to get off to the start they wanted in the lanes.
Fogged, I also want to pick up on the Arteezy role because it seemed in the early game, Virtus.pro just kind of left him to it. Didn't really care that he was farming up. It was more like, as long as they can shut everyone else down, I don't really care what he's doing.
Yeah, they put focus elsewhere. They realize it's a Dusa single core lineup at the end of the day, and if they just kill every other hero, they've got a dual core. They've got this Terrorblade who matches up decently versus Dusa with the reflection talent. You see that one always be coming to use, but I think Ramses played incredible this game, but for me, it's really up to the supports. I thought Roger had such a big impact on the game. Him staying top, he pressured, and then that movement bottom, that like double stun, that actually makes like such a difference. He's able to get both supports with that, and I felt in comparison, when I look at the performances from EG in the other days, it was when Crit and Misery were on fire. This game, I did not feel Misery on fire.
Yeah, a relatively quiet game.
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of Virtus.pro, though, that's a fantastic way to start the series.
Yeah, they're going to be really happy with that one, especially because they basically beat EG at their own game. I think EG will probably drop the IO because they were aggressive in that lane. And yes, they made a couple plays where with like the bounty one with the salve where he missed uphill. That one was great, but the next couple ones where the IO dies to the Terrorblade and then Arteezy goes for the DD and dies, moments like that absolutely put them on the back foot. So I think they might need something a little bit more reliable that they can gank and get back in the game if they get behind.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, isn't it, Alan? Because these games do turn on such small moments in the game, and there were plenty of small moments that all added together kind of gave Virtus.pro the advantage.
They absolutely do, and I think that VP were the better execution team. Let's not take anything away from the fact that they just played better, period. I still feel backstage right now, Bulba is talking to the team, look, we went away from our game plan. We need to crush Ramses, ruin his early game.
Okay, good thoughts. We're going to take a break here in Katowice. When we come back, Game 2's draft will be upon us. Plenty of questions for both coaches backstage, no doubt, but one will be happier than the other one. Virtus.pro lead right now, 1-0 against Evil Genius. We'll be back soon.
They fight the Sandstorming SK is the only thing that really goes to reveal. Now they find the bait. Avalanche toss. They get the burst combination on him, but then the Burrow strike on the other side. Fear and Arteezy, they want to get into this mess, but VP have just Delta split out. They still have that Aegis, the Immortal Raider fight on the back of no one, and Arteezy Stonegate is gone. Epi nice, the double Burrow strike, catching Misery too. This will be a triple kill for Ramses, and maybe even an Ultra as the mail will fall. Ramses takes the Ultra kill.